that's just, oh no, hey, hi. Look at that. We will be up and running in just a minute here, folks. Go figure, we're having technical difficulties. Oh, hey, there it is. Okay, never mind, we're starting now. Welcome, everybody, to the comic book elements of Avatar and Korra. We're very, very excited to be here with Jean Luen Yang and Irene Ko. I think we can already go to the next slide. So, there we go. They're gonna be driving for me. So, I am Dustin Nelson. I work for Dark Horse Comics, which is the publisher for these two lovely talents to my right. Anyway, let's get to know these two a little bit more. So, I've got a little bit of an icebreaker question that I'm sure is on everyone's mind. If you were a bender, what would be your element?
Fire.
Fire.
You gotta say why. You gotta say why.
Yeah, let's take a why also. We need to follow up.
I'm like the closest it gets to actually Korra, like being Korra.
So like literally being Korra.
I always wanted to be a Sami. I'm like, yeah, I'm totally. I'm not a Sami. I'm not even close.
We really missed an opportunity not putting you in a Korra cosplay, I feel like. So next time.
I just need to make a pink-haired character and then I'll be...
Yeah, okay. Well, it's kind of, I mean, I don't know how much it's up to you, but...
I'm super straightforward, I'm a little bit reckless, and I like to think I'm very sincere, but it kind of comes off a little aggressive sometimes, so fire it is.
There you go. Well, I put a lot of time into this. Like a lot. And I would have to choose Earth.
Okay.
Because okay, if you think about all of the elements, right? If you think about fire, air, water, and earth, out of all of them, when you're done bending them, they go back to normal. Like fire, after you're done bending fire, it just goes back to normal fire. But earth, you can make like this crazy thing with rocks, and it just stays like that. You know what I mean? So like, I would totally like make all this awesome lawn furniture. That's my dream.
Sell your ideas to like Crate and Barrel.
Yes, exactly.
Monetize.
I would have a Crate and Barrel,
So
an
smart.
Earth-based Crate and Barrel out of my backyard.
See, thinking ahead, stability,
Yeah.
Earth, yeah, I'm like in the moment.
If anybody cared, my answer is also Earth.
Okay, why? You gotta say why.
Because I took a BuzzFeed quiz once. I guess because I'm stubborn and stocky. I don't know. I guess that's why. But yeah, if I got to pick, I'd go with water. I just think it's the coolest.
It is the coolest.
You know, make water bubbles, drown my enemies in. It's not about me. Anyways,
It kind of is now.
my only qualifications for this panel is my weird sense of sarcasm and fanboy nature. So let's actually talk about some comics now. I'm pretty excited about that. So let's go ahead and bump it to the next slide. Hey, look at that. Who did that lovely piece?
This girl.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us about it?
Okay, I know the comment I get the most on that is, where's Zuko? And I'm really sorry to say that it's not that I kind of forgot him, but I couldn't fit him into the composition nicely after I did the whole thing, and I was like, well, there's fire at the bottom, so.
Wait, you seriously forgot Zuko? Like, how did that
I'm so sorry.
Okay, so hold on. I gotta figure this out. You chose fire, right? Like, how does that work?
No one's perfect, Gene.
I think, okay, so here's my, I majored in psychology. No, I didn't at all. But I'm gonna say this anyways. I think maybe you want to be Zuko, right? So that was my interpretation of that. So you want to be Zuko, so you left Zuko out so that there would be a
If
place
I wanted to be Zuko, wouldn't I have been front and
Irene
center
Ko.
though? Maybe.
What's that?
Maybe I should just insert myself in there.
You should. So that's
I'm
the next
signing
version.
these posters on, when did we say? Saturday?
So these guys have, well, Gene has one signing with us. So we'll have, at Dark Horse booth number 1708, we're gonna have 2 signings with Irene, and one that will be Irene and Gene together. So Saturday at 6 p.m. Is the duo, and then Sunday at 2 p.m. Will be Irene.
And I will just be drawing myself in there.
Yes,
As we go.
absolutely, absolutely.
So yeah, so we'll see you there. All right, we can talk about something else now, if you want.
Well, wait, can I ask more questions that are not as aggressive
You
about
can do
this?
whatever
Like
you
how
want.
did you do that? Like is that digital or is that traditional?
Yeah, it's all digital. I only work digitally now just because it's makes my life easier.
You like it better? Like, do you feel like you can go faster?
Yeah, I mean, now that there's tools that feel good and emulate like hand drawing well enough, yeah, it's just more convenient for me. Yeah, you know, like Kyle Webster brushes are great if you guys draw Kyle Webster brushes.
Yes.
But
I want to ask, so as an artist to artist, right? So I don't work digitally. So when you do digitally, are you just doing it on a platform like on, you know, so you're drawing by hand onto an image? Is that what you're doing? Or
Yeah,
are you
so-
actually inserting?
inserting.
Yeah, in other words, are you grabbing a graphic and then putting it in? Or are you doing it freehand onto?
Yeah, so his question was, do I do it freehand or do I like scan it piece by piece? And no, I have a Wacom Cintiq, like the big tablet, and then I just draw directly on there. So my process is pretty organic and loose. I don't really do like a pencils and ink stage, and this goes for comics as well. I usually go straight from thumbnail to the final inks because I think my looser work looks better. So yeah.
I have one more. Is that cool? Can I ask one more question?
Gene, you can literally do whatever you
No.
want.
Okay, my other question is this. So sometimes you have like pieces of art that just kind of fall out of you, and sometimes you have pieces of art that you have to wrestle.
Mhm.
So what was that for you?
A little bit of both.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, because I got a lot of notes from Brian too,
Oh.
so just like little things that he would fix, and I was like, oh, okay, sure. So, but it was mostly pretty loose. Yeah, it just kind of happened. I've been drawing all of them for so long, for so many times that it was easy.
Just as a fan?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, I've been doing fan art for
wow,
years.
awesome,
Yeah.
awesome.
Irene has a lot of beautiful art on her Instagram too, so you should follow her at Coquette.
KOHQUETT.
Yeah, so, okay, great. All right, does Gene have any more questions?
I think I'm okay for now.
You're good now.
I'm okay for now.
We're gonna, I think we're gonna talk about you next, so maybe Irene
Okay,
will.
I have questions.
It's Irene's turn to grill you, so we're gonna turn the tables here now. I mean, next slide, please. Sorry, guys. Okay, cool. So we're here. We get to talk about North and South. Avatar: The Last Airbender, North and South. Is anybody here reading that series? You could just.
Oh, thank
Okay,
you.
well,
Thank
all
for
of
reading it.
you should be. So, fun time. So, Gene, go ahead and talk to us a little bit about the North and South arc of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Kind of catch this group up.
North and South is the 5th story arc that I've done with Gurihiru, so I only do the writing, they do the hard stuff. They do all the drawing and all the coloring and everything else. They're actually a Japanese studio. So when I first heard of them, I imagined like this giant building full of amazing artists. But it turns out it's actually just 2 ladies.
Yeah.
One of them does all of the pencils and the other one does everything else, the inks and the colors and everything else. And I'm shocked at how, like, what high quality of work they produce and what quantity they produce. It's
super
amazing,
polished,
right?
yeah.
Isn't it crazy? I
Yeah.
can't believe, I don't know. I'm shocked. Anyways, one of the things that you know, every story arc starts with a conversation between Mike and Brian and me, and after I get over like, you know, my fanboying, we start talking about what the story should be about. So we've always wanted to throw the focus on Katara and Sokka, and it just never worked out for any of the other stories. And this is it. This is when we finally throw the focus on Katara and Sokka. The other thing is, throughout all of the books that we've done up until this point, one of the major themes is political upheaval. How do you go from a world that was in a state of war for 100 years to a world that is at peace? How do you go from a world where all the cultures are separate to a world where the cultures start mixing and mingling, right? So in this one, it's all about what the Southern Water Tribe has to do in order to fit into this new world. And we also wanted to show, like, you know how in Korra, the Northern Water Tribe and the Southern Water Tribe are kind of mad at each other? We wanted to show the beginnings of that.
All right, let's hit the next slide then. So this is some of your other past work with the Promise arc. So I guess talk a little bit about that.
Well, okay, so the Promise was the very first arc that I ever did with Dark Horse. I don't know when you got the call, how did you feel?
I mean, so I had told
was
myself.
it a call? Was it a call?
It was an email.
Okay.
But I told myself the last licensed work for hire thing that I wanted to do in comics, if anything, was Korra, and it happened, and it was amazing.
Wait, so did you wish it and then it happened? Like, you wished it one night and like you.
Well, so do you know Ame Zhao? She's an illustrator. She's an amazing illustrator. She's Australian. She works in animation, but they had hired her to do some posters for them in the past for Comic Cons, and they asked her about the comic, and she was like, "Well, I don't really have time to do a comic, but I have a friend who does, and she's bisexual, she's Asian, she does martial arts, and she's a fan, so you might want to hit her up." And so she sent me a little message being like, "You might get an email soon." I was like, "Yes."
And you got an email.
And I got an email.
And then, so you still haven't. How'd you react?
Well, I was super excited, but my editor, Dave, he's very calm. He's very chill, so he's just like, great. And I was like, yeah!
Your Firebender came out.
And then, but I couldn't tell people, so.
When did it go public?
When did we announce it at New York?
We announced it at New York Comic Con.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I had to wait a while.
So
I had to wait a long while.
You really did. I'm gonna say sorry about that.
I knew.
There was a lot of
saying,
Tumblr speculation though, and people got it right.
People put the detective work
It
was
was amazing.
was next level.
How did they figure that out?
Okay, to be fair, I didn't try to hide it that much.
I
was like, I'm working on something. It's really gay.
Well, it was so funny too because I saw Irene at San Diego Comic Con because you were on the Secret Loves of Geek Girls panel,
Yeah.
and you were doodling Korra on the back of your placard, and people were like, "Oh, that's quite a secret."
I'm working on a thing.
My not so secret project.
So that's how you reacted. You reacted by slowly leaking it.
Kind of. I also had a really nice steak dinner. So.
Okay, that's great. I should have done that.
What did you
I did
do?
not do that. I did not do that.
How did you
So
react?
I found out through an email as well. It was through an email from an editor who's no longer at Dark Horse, but we still love her. It was Samantha Robertson.
Oh, okay.
And the most awesome thing that happened was they sent me that art book for free. I was so excited about
Wait,
it.
the
Have you all
actual
seen the?
book?
Yeah, the
I got
actual physical book.
PDFs.
Oh, did you? actual book. Actually, the actual book. You should take it.
I see how it is.
Irene, come to the booth. You can have whatever you want.
Looking at you, marketing.
Dude, if you haven't bought the art books
They're
from Dark Horse, they
amazing.
really are
They're
amazing.
amazing.
I don't feel like you're a true fan unless you own them. Honestly, just put it out there.
Wow.
Yeah, so they sent me that, and then
Sales plug. We have that.
and then I got to go on the phone with Mike and Brian, and I got to pitch them. And as soon as I got on, the very first thing out of my mouth was I don't even think I said hi. I just said, "What happened to Zuko's mom?" So it's kind of crazy that like the next arc I got to work on that. You know, it was mind blowing.
A very good friend of mine is Lee Bardugo, she's a YA author,
yeah.
And so I was at one of her book parties, and Mike was there because they're also friends, and this was way before the comic was ever a thing, and I was like, hi, and I had to really keep it down, like, what happened to Zuko's mom? What happened to Zuko's mom? It's just like, nice to meet you. We both went to RISD, like, what's up? And he's like, oh, hey.
Yeah, that was the thing. Like when after it was announced and I started doing these events, that was the one thing everybody would ask me. You know? Like as soon as you got connected to the property.
So how cathartic was it to actually get to do the story?
It was actually for me. It was like mind blowing in two ways. It was mind blowing in the fact that I was super excited about it and happy about it. It was also mind blowing in the fact that I was like filled with deep fear. You know, like almost like crippling, want to hide in my bed kind of fear. But you know, one of the things that I have absolutely loved about working on these comics is how involved Mike and Brian are, especially Mike on the story side.
Yeah.
You know, just the fact that I was able to go back and forth with him on the ideas, the fact that he is a world-class storyteller, all of that was how I was able to get out of bed, you know, and actually work on the book.
It's amazing.
Those are good stories, you guys. I really liked them. let's go ahead and get back to the PowerPoint here. Oh, there's another slide of the promise. Look at that. Those books are so good, Gene.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Love them. Okay, let's do next slide then. What do we have to talk about now?
Oh, dude,
dessert.
is it just like all the
I think
the
it's
books?
just all of them.
It's all
Yeah.
the
So
books?
we can kind of just.
Damn, these covers are amazing.
The covers are amazing.
I've only seen the trades, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if we're allowed to reveal this. I'm gonna anyways.
Do
So,
whatever you
in
want. I
terms
told
of-
you
in
you can
terms
do
of
whatever you
notes,
want.
Like for story, most of the notes that I got were from Mike. And then for the art, like I would see the notes as they passed through our email chain to Guihiru. Most of those notes came from Brian. That ended up being how things broke down.
So there's like a lot of chefs in the kitchen kind of feel with these because it's a very popular IP, and so Nickelodeon is very involved, and Mike and Brian, it's their baby, so obviously they're very involved. And the animation process is different than comics. My experience with comics is that they usually just kind of let you do your thing, right? They trust you with it. Brian and Mike part of their success is because they're so involved and they're perfectionists, particularly Brian. So I get a lot of notes from Brian, a lot of notes, including like the arrow needs to be a little bit wider, like that kind of, and I'm like, wow, okay. So I think I've leveled up as an artist immensely just because of Brian. So.
And I also
Thanks,
wonder,
Brian.
like I wonder how much of this is driven by the fan response. Because I remember after the first arc came out, I would get these really long emails, like super long emails from fans and from readers. And like for instance, one of them I got was from somebody who called himself a Fire Nation military historian. And he talked about how the helmets were wrong. You know,
my
and the helmets were wrong. So I was like, so that's what Mike and Brian deal with.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
why they make it. You know?
It just like it doesn't belong to them anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a good way, I think.
Yeah, no,
It just
totally.
shows how powerful
Yeah.
that particular story was.
No, I think it's a positive thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Did that make you feel like you had reason to be nervous? Like where you're like, oh, my fears are like realized now?
Oh,
Like,
in those emails?
in those emails where you're like, how much more of this could there possibly be?
Yes, I got one email that said that I broke love because I had two characters break up. I don't even want to say who because we're gonna get into it.
Because we might have a revolt in this room.
I had two characters break up. It ended up being a temporary breakup. They got back together like 3 years later. So, but I got this long email from somebody about how I like ruined love. I completely destroyed love.
I stopped looking at Tumblr because it was funny because when I was drawing fan art and people were like, oh yeah, she's one of us, like you can draw whatever you want, that's so great, I like the way you do it. But the moment I was the official artist, it was like, why are you doing it like that? You can't do it like that. And are you really a fan? It's like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. But I will say on mostly positive, very loving comments, so it's very nice.
Yeah. I mean, I think some of that passion again shows how powerful that original story was.
Yeah.
You know, so if you get the privilege of working in this amazing world, that passion comes out in different ways. Some ways that make you want to hide in your bed, but it's still that passion, right? It's still the passion.
Avatar fans are the best. They really are. So we have fun working with them. What's on the next slide, guys? I don't even remember. So the Rift. See, Gene wrote a lot of books here. Can you tell?
I wrote a lot of it.
Your
prolific.
backlist is long.
Yeah, so for the Rift, when I was watching the show, my favorite character was Zuko. But after I started writing the comics, it became Toph because she was by far the easiest to write. Like I would close my eyes and I'd hear her yelling at me, and I'd just write down what I heard. So I wanted to do a book where she was the focus, right? Where she was the main character, and that's what the Rift ended up being.
Yeah, I think like Toph as like an inner monologue would be a very like motivating, but would also be a little scary sometimes.
Yes.
That's understandable.
Motivating and
fear-inducing. Cool. What are we talking about next? Let's see. More of this.
More.
Smoke and Shadow.
All right.
Hey. this was fun. This was a good arc, and yeah, I'm into that. And we have the Smoke and Shadow Library Edition as a prize for our trivia contest that'll happen a little later. So there's that. So
I don't know. You're probably not allowed to talk about this in your arc. Okay, but I'll tell you for Smoke and Shadow, one of the other awesome things about working on these books is that Gurihiru and I, we got to hear about these ideas that Mike and Brian had for the original show, but weren't able to fit in. So did you have anything like that? You didn't? Well, Mike wouldn't tell you.
Yeah, because he's writing it, so I don't get to hear all the juicy stuff.
Oh, okay.
I should ask though.
You should totally ask. You should totally ask if any of the stuff that ended up in your first arc.
We live in the same city. I'll just take him out to lunch and make him tell me all the secrets.
Do it.
And totally won't tell any of you.
But one of these concepts that they had was they originally wanted a like a Fire Nation version of the Kyoshi Warriors. They wanted these women warriors from the Fire Nation that ended up on the cutting room floor. They didn't have space to put it in the original show. Mm-hmm. And that was something that we were able to pick up and run with. And that ended up being the Komuri Kaji, who were these women who kind of dress up like ghosts and they wear all purple. Gurihiru came up with this awesome design for their uniform. And that started off as a discarded idea for the original show.
That's super cool.
That was fun. I mean, it's just like, I feel like when I had conversations with them, I would just like sit there and, I mean, I had to remember that this was part of a job, right? I couldn't ask family questions the whole time.
I didn't get any of that, but I did get a lot of opportunities to design new characters, which was super fun.
Cool.
And so I finally got to add a South Asian character, which I thought was overdue. Super cool, yeah. She is amazing, and I won't say anything more than that because I would probably get in trouble. But
so can I ask, when you're designing characters for the Korra world, Korra is sort of it's a mix, right? It's like a mix of all these different elements. Mm-hmm. How much is there like a visual Bible that they give you for that, or?
Mostly just the art books. I'm pretty good at matching the aesthetic. Obviously style-wise, super different, but they basically I just run with the concept of trying to mix Asian aesthetics without being offensive about it, right? And trying to just stick with like a region or something like that, and then making it a little bit modern, since it's kind of a mix of that like old-timey Hong Kong feel, right? So like it'll be like traditional garb and then like boots or something like that. So, or like a suit and then like weird like Asian sartorial elements like that. So.
Did you feel weird about like mixing like Chinese and Japanese?
I kind of did a little bit, and we've had a lot of chats about that, and I try to be. I don't say much about the narrative stuff. I leave Mike to do all that. But if I see something that's like a little bit weird or something sensitivity issues, race politics, that kind of stuff, I'll bring it up, and they're super open to it. They listen, they change it. So they've been really great to work with in regards to that. So we got some. One of the characters was originally Chinese, and I was like, well, we don't really have that many Korean characters, so can we make them Korean? They're like, yeah, of course. And I was like, yes. So. Yeah.
So you could tell he was Korean from the.
Yeah. So I got to name him.
Okay.
I named him after my grandpa, which is kind of Well, now I feel kind of weird about it because he's kind of questionable. But I was like, oops, sorry, grandpa. But he wears a suit, but it also has like the Korean hanbok lapel. So like a mix and match.
Awesome.
Yeah, super fun to do. So.
Yeah. So my wife and I'm Chinese, but my wife is Korean. We go to a Korean church, so that's where I got all of my
nice.
Asian sounding names for several arcs, or just people at church.
Oh, that's funny.
One of them got mad at me. He's like, "Why am I a bad guy?"
I draw all my friends as the background characters, and my boyfriend gets beat up a lot.
Wait, is that like after a fight you'll have you didn't do the dishes?
He kind of likes it when the women beat him up. He's like, as long as it's just the women beating me up, that's fine. So I'm like, okay. So if you see a dude in the background and he's wearing glasses and he has like dark hair, it's him. He's usually getting thrashed by like Jinora.
All right, let's go to the next slide then. More Smoke and Shadow. Okay, next one, actually. We shoved that off. And so this is the, as you can see, this is the newest arc with Jean, the North and South. So parts 1 and 2 are out, and we've got part 3 coming out next month. So that is very exciting. So it's all 3 covers for that. And let's go ahead and go to next slide. The coloring book. Yes. So this is out. This is exciting. So fun too, because this is all. It's all original art too, so there's nothing in here that's repurposed from either the comics or from the show. So it's really, really fun, 45 pages, cool stuff. And
This is gorgeous.
It really
have you not seen that?
No, it's all, I don't know if you guys can see this, but it's all done in like a brush, and so it's like
Yeah.
super traditional looking. It's like that arc of Korra with the first Avatar. It's super beautiful. Damn.
Yeah, so these are good.
Sorry.
These are a must-have for me. We're just gonna let them
Excuse me.
nerd out for a minute. That's okay. And very exciting too is that we have a Legend of Korra one coming as well. That one is not out yet. I think we've actually got that on the next slide if we want to show. Oh no, never mind. Just kidding. That's the Avatar: The Last Airbender poster collection, which is also a gorgeous book, but you can't color it. I mean, you can, but you'd ruin it. Don't do that.
I haven't even seen this. I didn't even know. Can we ask for these things?
Hi, marketing.
I don't know how many times I have to tell you, you can have whatever you want. Okay? Just like,
Awesome.
I'm a pushover.
Wait, where is the Dark Horse booth?
It's 1708. It's right off of the Sky Bridge.
Okay.
It's pretty hard to miss. It's kind of big.
Yeah, these are amazing. So it looks like some of these are actually backgrounds from the original show,
Yeah.
and they even have the Lost Appa poster.
Oh.
That's amazing. That is worth it in and of itself.
Yeah,
right?
I would just get it for that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Don't worry, they found him.
All right, cool. Let's see the next slide. This is just like, this is a game for me now. Okay.
Was that the last slide?
Next slide. No.
Oh,
Hey, Irene, look at that.
I just want to clarify, it's June 7th for comic book stores, and then June 20th for other retailers like bookstores and stuff like that.
Yeah. So if you're ordering off Amazon or Barnes & Noble or something like that, you can't get it till the 20th, but if you do go to a local comic shop, it'll be available 2 weeks early.
Also, really exciting news, it was the #1 bestseller on Amazon for graphic novels a little while ago, so thank you.
So this is good stuff. Let's go ahead and go to the next slide just in case. You guys want to see some interior?
Yes.
I know you do. Irene, talk to us about what's going on here.
This is the very beginning of the book, and we pretty much open right where the series ended. So they're in the spirit world. They're on taking a little vacation. Just gals being pals. What more is there to say? The colors are done by Vivian Eng, who's amazing. And she kind of just went wild with it. So
It's gorgeous. I flipped.
she makes my lines look so good.
Yeah, I flipped when I saw the colored pages. Yeah, these are just very recently being revealed, this little preview here. If we kind of scroll through these, I think we've got a few pages here that we can show off. So let's go to the next slide and see what that looks like.
Yay!
Yeah.
This was like my favorite spirit, and so I'm so glad I got to draw on like page 2 or 3 or whatever. It was so cute. But more gals being pals.
Just palling around the spirit world.
We're just like, bye, and they just left. This is supposed to be a 2-page spread, so maybe the next one is.
I think the next slide has their. Oh, no, never mind. Just kidding.
All right.
If you really want to, you can just buy it if you really want to see it.
Entertainment Weekly also has these previews, and you can see all the pages. It's
Yes.
like the first 7 pages or so.
Mhm.
Yeah. Next one, a little friendly competition, and then mayhem. But
Let's see. Is there one more? There's a few more.
oh yeah, okay. Just like little panels. All right.
Yeah. So there's the first, like Irene said, the first 6 pages of the comic is available on EW. The Dark Horse booth also has ash cans that are a little preview.
Really?
Yeah, we brought a lot of them. So if you want to kind of get your hands on a preview of the physical copy, we've got those there and they're free. So.
Oh my gosh. Save me one.
Well, I will. I've got a pile, don't worry. Cool, there's the
There we
coloring
go.
book. See, I knew it was there. Look at that. So this is exciting. Very similar to the Avatar: The Last Airbender. There'll be a very nice set together. Again, 45 pages, all original art. Very, very excited for that. So look for that in July. And the Legend of Korra poster book. Yeah, there's gorgeous stuff in this one as well. Yeah, I mean, you guys could just talk about that.
So
if
what's
you
the
want
highlight?
to.
If you had to choose one, what's the highlight in this one?
My favorite, there's a really gorgeous painting of Asami in that one that I wish we had, but it's, and it was also, if I'm not mistaken, I learned from some of the Nickelodeon folks at New York Comic Con that the Asami painting that I really like was an original piece of concept art that made its way into the poster book.
It's pretty intense.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I want to frame that one.
I like the one with the season 3 villains, because they're my fave.
Yeah, the season.
It also includes that really beautiful, the turtle duck
Date night.
swan. The date night picture under the tower that they did for the Turtle Project donation. So get your gay on.
All right, let's see. I don't remember if that's the last slide or not. Let me see. It is the last slide. Thank you, Megan. You keep it together. I appreciate that. Cool. Why don't we go ahead? I'm curious. I just want to have you guys, before we go into our little trivia contest here. I just want to hear just one, couple sentences from you. What is your favorite thing about the world that you're working on? Like, what makes it worth it for you?
You first.
So I did not become an Avatar fan as it was airing. I think the first 2 seasons had aired, and one of my friends loaned me a DVD of the first season. He's like, "You gotta watch this. I think this is the best animated series that America has ever produced." And I was like, "How good could it be? It's from Nickelodeon." And I watched it, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. It was amazing because of the richness of the characters. I think even though it's Y7, even though it does appeal to 7-year-olds, the way they deal with topics of morality, the way they deal with character growth, all of it is very real because it's very nuanced. I think there's thoughtfulness that is apparent at every level of the construction of that world. And that's part of what makes it so easy to write. The characters are so well established that for many of them you can close your eyes and they will yell at you.
Yeah, they really stay with you.
Yeah.
I had a similar sort of initial reaction because I was in college at the time when it came out, and they're alums from the same school as me, and so all my friends were obsessed. But I was like, what are 2 white dudes writing a story about like fantasy Asia? Like. But then I watched it and I was like, no. This is amazing. This is really good. And then with Korra, it was awesome just to age it up a little bit more, right? And it gets kind of dark. And I appreciated that it was still palatable for a general audience, but dealt with a little more with heavier themes. And then obviously the Korra and Asami getting together was amazing for me because you never get to see queer representation in children's cartoons, right? For whatever reason, it's labeled as inappropriate. And so this was nice. It was, even though it was difficult for Brian and Mike to do with Nickelodeon, they made it happen. And now I get to be part of the process, and that is super cool. And they really went out of their way to find a queer Asian creator, and for that, good on them. So.
And for Korrasami shippers, where the comics are going there, so it's
They kiss.
Yeah,
They kiss twice.
They kiss. So
They're like full-on girlfriends.
yeah.
Don't worry about that. No.
Okay. Cool. Well, thank you so much. Let's go ahead. I've prepared. Do you have a question, or someone else?
Questions? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Speaking of shipping.
Oh, jeez.
There will be enemies. Favorite ship.
Oh my god, that's like the worst question ever.
Someone asked me this on Tumblr, and you know what I said? I just said Lin Beifong and herself.
There you go. That's perfect.
I was like, like a Korra shipper from day one. Like, the series came out and I was like, oh, they're totally a thing. The Mako. Poor guy. That's my answer, though.
That's
I'm not
okay.
gonna start a war here. Do you have one?
I don't want to talk about this. I talked about it. The very first interview I gave about that Avatar comics, I talked about it, and oh my god, I'm still traumatized. I'm still traumatized. What's that?
Favorite?
My favorites?
You as well.
I like Aang and Katara. It's just too
I'll be honest, I was a Zutara fan. Oh no!
That's what I
Did
said.
start
Oh my
something?
gosh.
I've started feeling
You
bad.
broke love.
Now I'm really Now I'm never going on Tumblr ever again.
You can't always get what you want. Sorry, guys. It's not the way entertainment works.
I mean, my brand is like angsty lesbians, and like Zutara was angsty without the lesbians, so I was like, I'll take it.
I'll take it. You really do have to. You just have to take what you can get. So yeah. Does everybody feel like trivia questions? Do you know a lot about this? Because we're about to test you for prizes.
There are some amazing prizes y'all want up here.
Yeah. So everything we showed you and talked about is up for grabs. We have 2 of each, 10 questions, lightning round. So, and we'll just raise your hand, and I'll try to be egalitarian about picking people to answer. Okay. So question number 1. What are the names of the spirit koi fish in the Northern Water Tribe? You in the pointy elf ears. You did it! Yay! You win the Art of Legend of Korra. And we'll give that prize away next as well.
We're just gonna go in order, huh?
I'll just try to go in order, yeah, and I'll see how far my arms can reach down this table. Question number 2. This one's a little more challenging because it is about the comics, not about the show, and we know your track record here. So, in the Avatar Free Comic Book Day story from 2011, what does Admiral Zhao use to lure Aang into a trap? Do you know?
It's Airbender relics.
You did it! Look at that! Okay, I thought that was going to be embarrassing. Gene, oh no, he didn't ruin the answer to this one. It's one of my later questions that you ruined. In Avatar, The Last Airbender, Smoke and Shadow, how many Fire Nation children have gone missing? Anybody know? Is it? I think your hand was up first, sir.
13?
You did it, yes!
Are you serious?
How about I don't get, how about let's not get,
Wow,
have you read,
thanks.
do you have Smoke and Shadow? You do, okay, let's not give him that then. Let's give him a poster book. Yeah. I was like, maybe let's not give the prize that it's related to, because if you know, you probably have it. See, gotta think. What is the element order of the Avatar resurrection cycle? In the Cape.
It was water, earth, air, fire.
I'm sorry, that's right. I had to think about it, but I had to check my reference, but you were so close, I'm sorry. How about you in the green?
Water, earth, fire, air.
You did it! She can have Smoke and Shadow. Yeah, let's do that.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you.
All right, here's the question that Jean ruined, so let's see how closely you were paying attention. According to Fire Nation legend, what spirits come and snatch away misbehaved children?
Way in the back.
Do we see? Okay, let's give it a shot. Yes! There we go. What kind of animal is Fufu Cuddly Poops? Yeah, I'll take the rogue. Yeah?
Rabbit?
No, sorry. How about you over there?
Saber-tooth moose lion.
That is correct.
Oh yeah, I was thinking of the
We're up to question. Yeah,
Moon's
they're
pet, yeah.
slamming through these. I'm pretty excited about this. Okay,
Never
so
underestimate the fans.
well, at the New York, you guys are doing better than the New York panel. I'm just letting you know. And that was fuller. Like, I expected that to be like a super fan situation. It was embarrassing, dude.
I want city represent.
No, I'm just kidding. I shouldn't talk like that. Anyway, they were great. It was lovely. Such a lovely dinner.
Aren't you in marketing?
I mean, I don't really know how that happened, but yes, technically. It's question number 7. What is the name of Katara and Sokka's mother? In the hat, I think your hand went right up.
Yeah, it's Kaya.
Yes. Where is Avatar Kruk from?
Ooh.
I think you might know. That is correct. Y'all are straight up impressing me, just so you know.
Oh, these like OG Avatar fans.
Yeah,
Like-
it's hardcore. Okay. You guys are earning this. What does the flying boar symbolize?
Ooh.
I see someone in a blue wig.
The big fountain.
That is correct. Look at these super fans. In The Legend of Korra, which 4 characters have a statue in Republic City? That was a fast hand raise. Give it a shot. Okay, that is correct, but there are 3 others, so. Way in the back! That is correct! And that is the last Smoke and Shadow. We have a few minutes left. Do you guys want to take audience questions?
Sure.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
Great. Does anybody have questions for these lovely panelists? How about you?
Yeah, how have legacies of imperialism and colonization impacted the way you write and
Yeah, I thought about that a lot because the Avatar comics are supposed to take place between the two animated series. So it takes place immediately after the war ends, and the only thing that we really knew going into the comics was that eventually Republic City was going to grow out of what used to be the colonies. So to write those books, I actually looked at, like the Fire Nation takes inspiration from a bunch of different places, but one of the main places is like Meiji Restoration Japan, like pre-World War II Japan. So I looked at what happened with Japan after World War II. And I think, like, especially Japanese colonies like Taiwan, right? And I think it's complex because the Japanese civilians who were in Taiwan many of them had been there for a couple of generations, and it was the only home that they knew. They didn't really have anything to do with the military. It was just a funky thing. So I was hoping that with that first arc, we would bring about some of that funkiness and some of the new ones.
Yeah, similarly, I mean, as a Korean, we talk about like colonization and Japanese history for a lot, their invasion and occupation a lot. So I wanted to make sure like putting a South Asian character in there or a Korean, right? The idea of like reclaiming their cultures, because I thought that was a pretty strong and simple, mostly Chinese-focused aesthetic to Avatar, and so I wanted to bring other Asian cultures in to be like, this world is expanding, or it's reviving stuff now that the invasion is over. So it's been fun, yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
For writing the scripts for Avatar, do you give yourself a page limit and give them some room to draw action during, because there's a big difference between the number of pages that you write and the number of pages that are drawn, or is it pretty consistent?
That sounds like a question from a writer. Are you a writer?
Yeah.
Okay. So the scripts, the way I write the scripts is I break down the story by page, So every avatar book that I've done is 72 pages. So I break it down by page, and in each page I do break it down by panel. You know, I think there's some writers who don't, but I break it down by page and by panel. And Avatar was the very first time that I actually had to write within a page limit. Before this, I always did graphic novels. You can go as long as or as short as you want. The way I make sure I hit that page is I use a spreadsheet. I use a spreadsheet. I lay out all the scenes that I need to write. I estimate the number of pages every scene is going to take, and then I use a formula to make sure it all adds up to 72. It's like super nerdy. It's like
Spreadsheet.
yeah, I totally spreadsheet. Can I ask, are Mike's scripts, do they break it down by page and by panel?
Yeah, they do. That's pretty standard, I think. I've gotten a few scripts before from some people like Karen Gillan when we were together. That's mostly just like, here's some content on a page, you break it up how you want to. And I think my layouts are pretty okay that I can do that. But yeah, the standard is usually, it's pretty direct in terms of like what art they want in each panel and stuff like that.
So he's pretty detailed.
He's pretty detailed, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. If you want to check it out, Dark Horse actually has a script format guide. You just Google it, Dark Horse script format guide. It shows exactly how Dark Horse likes you to format their scripts.
Thank you.
Yeah, in the back. Yeah. Yep.
Do we get to see more on
Yeah. They're in it. The Airbenders are pretty prominent in the stories, so yeah.
Yes.
So you guys are both working on these characters after the television show, which I imagine everyone has seen. How would you two interact with the characters that you're working with now through the development that everyone publicly has gotten to see, and then through the comics that maybe some people haven't read yet?
I don't know if I'm smart enough to understand that question. Can you say it again? Did you?
No.
Okay,
Sorry.
say it again.
How would you interact with these characters now, because they've both been through so much character development that we've all been able to see, but maybe they're going through stuff that you guys are working on that we haven't seen. Would you be able to interact with them if you were in that world, I guess?
Oh, okay.
Like
Like if we were characters in the world,
Yeah.
how would we interact with them differently?
Would you be able to interact with them? How would you?
Knowing their histories.
Yeah.
Like if we were dropped into the world of the Avatar as the writer and the artist of the
Like,
comics,
would you chill with them?
would I hang out with them?
Yeah. Or like, would you be able to? Would you approach them?
Would they have said the words that I wrote?
Want to hang out, or would you just like?
Would you know
I'm
that
out.
trouble's about to come and you'd just be like, I might just.
Or would you be like, these guys are a problem?
I would totally hang out with
I'm
them.
gonna get in trouble.
I'd be like, hey girl. Want to drive me around in your car?
I think I'd be really intimidated. I'd be super intimidated. I think I'd be like in a constant state of fanboy anxiety around them.
Foaming mouth.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I hope this is on. Yes,
It is,
it is.
yeah.
It is on.
What do you feel about how the world of Avatar can do for increasing diversity in reading and in experiences for people who are looking for their own experiences in comics and stories?
I'm sorry, can you say that again? Sorry.
I may be poking a bit at Mr. Young People's ambassador, just a touch there. But how do you feel that the world of Avatar can be used for people who are looking for diverse experiences, or for people who want to see diverse experiences in their work?
Sure. I mean, as a queer Asian creator, right? Even being able to work on it was amazing. And I think I get a lot of messages from young queer folks who are like, it's not only is the content great for them to see themselves or other people represented, but also that a queer person is working on that is a step above, right? Yeah, woo, yeah. I think for a show about Asian culture, right? Avatar was immensely popular and had a lot of universality because the experiences were real. Marginalized people, regardless of race or gender identity or orientation or whatever, liked it because they saw different things of themselves in different characters. And I think that's really the strength behind an Avatar, right? They feel real. Their struggles are real. And they're kids, right? And like we all go through that. So I think there's probably more that could be done always. But man, what a good first step, you know? So.
I don't know if I have anything to add, but that's awesome. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I think we have time for one more. You, sir, in the plaid shirt. No, Siri, no.
You already said what kind of earthbenders you'd be, but what is your like favorite specialized type of bending, like such as like metal bending or lava bending or flying?
Lightning.
I feel like I could have guessed that. I feel like I could have guessed that. There is, okay, this is super obscure, but there is an Avatar comic that came out in Nickelodeon magazine where there was cookie dough bending. That's what I would say.
What element would that be?
What, cookie dough? Oh, like what's specialized underneath?
It's cookie dough.
Like, it's so
It's just
big.
cookie dough,
It's
yeah.
the fifth
Cookie
element.
donation.
It's the fifth element. It's love. It's love. When you're bending cookie dough, you're bending love.
I did really like Plea and what did they call him? The concussion dude, the
Sparky
Sparky
Sparky.
Yes, Sparky Man, thank you. Yeah, I love that guy. that was really cool. But lightning.
Thank you. Do you care? I was.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yes,
sometimes people want to know my answer for some reason, which is I bloodbending. It's dark. What can I say? Like I'm a horror fan, and if there's something horrifying about it, and so it just is so scary. I
Someone
love it.
posted on Tumblr this thing like if like bending an avatar was used the darkest way possible.
Yeah.
And it was pretty dark. I was
It
like,
is.
"Whoa."
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway, so that's more than you need to know about me. But anyway, so I think we're just about out of time. Before we run, I think what we're gonna do is take an audience selfie.
I want to take a
With
selfie.
Irene. So you can be in a picture with.
Okay.
And Jean could be in it too.
Dustin, are you gonna get into it?
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
I have a long.
Do we need a longer arm? Like, do you have a selfie stick?
I have a wide one if you want to get it.
I can take it. Hey, look at that! No, this is cute. Oh, I'm so into this, you guys. All right, everyone, say Avatar and throw your hands in the air. Oh, look at you all. That's adorable. There you go. That's your phone, not mine.
We'll take it.
Yep. Not mine.
Oh, that's amazing.
It is amazing. Yeah, I love it. Great. Well, thank you all so much for coming. This was such a blast. You guys were a blast. And thank you so much to Jean and Irene. It was such a blast to hang with you, and we are really, really looking forward to your upcoming work.
Thank you.
So.